All right, all right. Hey, everybody, what's going on? It's Nick Valencia. I thought I'd pop in here at the end of this live. For those of you guys who are still watching, I think everybody is kind of dropped off on Instagram. We still got some people watching on Substack, though, which is great. We are, as you see, not fully live today. I don't have any guests lined up for today because we are fully promoting tomorrow's show. In fact, I'm just texting right now with Gareth Finley. She was our guest on Tuesday. Let me lower this background music here just a little bit. She was our guest on Tuesday because we are focusing on, let me see if I could do this, Social Circle and the town that is being sacrificed for ICE. This is one of the towns, a rural part of Georgia, a rural part of America. And you know what that means? A lot of them support President Trump. They support his immigration policy, but they also bought into this narrative that it's the most violent offenders that they're picking up. We know that that's not true, and that's just a BS rumor and narrative. In some cases, sure, they've got some data to prove that, but in most cases, it's not the case. So the people who have opposed this have sort of mixed in from different backgrounds. You have progressive activists, and then you have people who are generally and typically more conservative, who are seeing this more in terms of dollar signs and how their property values would decrease. I mean, let's be honest, that's exactly what their take is on this. Either way, they're an unlikely pairing here. We are going to have those voices tomorrow from Social Circle and give you guys a better sense of exactly what people are saying about why they don't want this there. It's not just property values, it's the strain on resources. We talked about this on, I guess, when was it? On Tuesday. It was during our interview with Gareth Finley that we learned it was about a town of about 5,000 people. And they wanted to put 10,000 people in this detention center that includes children. So the town would go from 5,000 to 15,000. And all of a sudden, what does that mean for emergency services? Ambulances have to respond. Fire department, police responding to incidents, general gas, water, power, all that sort of stuff, those resources. What's the strain on the community going to be? Not just psychologically, but actually like in terms of their pocketbook and you know, how much it's going to cost them. So anyway, we had Gareth Finley on the show. We are putting together a cast of locals here, some local residents, characters who I spent some time with yesterday. I'm finishing up that edit and putting that story together. It was a group of people who came from sort of all backgrounds, walks of life, who are getting together to fight the creation, the building of this ICE detention center. They bought this warehouse for, I think it was about $100 million over market value, and now they want to turn it into what is expected to be the biggest or one of the biggest detention centers. We're going to have all that tomorrow. Let's put it back up one more time to show you guys here. We're going to have live from Social Circle, the town sacrificed for ICE, Friday, March 20th from 1 to 2 p.m. We will be streaming live with local voices. We hope you guys join us. Thank you guys so much for dipping in here. We wanted to promote the show, make sure you guys saw it, and just to check in. A lot going on. I would be remiss to not talk about also big news that came out. Let me see, what am I doing here? Let's do this. There we go. News that came out about Cesar Chavez. I was talking to someone yesterday who is a local LA resident, somebody who's been in our industry and broadcasting and who has been on the other side of discrimination because of who she is, because she's a woman. And what we learned yesterday is what I learned along with a lot of other people for the first time, is that Cesar Chavez is not the man that we thought he was. I know that there had been some criticism, and I'd heard it before, his use of the term wetback, his stance on pushing back on immigration, some of the accusations of misogyny. I think a lot of the Latino men of that era, though, are guilty of that. It's not specific to him. But what we did find out that was specific to him was abuse and misuse of power by sexually assaulting and abusing, raping, among them Dolores Huerta, and children and women, who have yet to be identified and I'm sure will come forward. This all, the timing of which is coming up with Cesar Chavez Day, which is expected to be, or was expected to be, on Friday. In fact, next Friday, I had signed up and I accepted a keynote to be the keynote at the city of Carson for Cesar Chavez Day. I haven't heard from the organizers, but I can only imagine that that event is not going to go forward, at least in the same capacity that it was going to go forward before. Look, I want to be clear. This sort of stuff happens because one of the things that contributes to it is men not speaking up. And I was talking to my wife ahead of this show, and she said something that I'd never heard before. And it's something I'm sure that's talked about a lot in circles among women, is that a lot of women, many women, know a victim of sexual abuse or sexual assault. And men, on the other hand, if those statistics were to match up, you would think that a lot of men would know a rapist or a sexual abuser or an alleged assaulter. But I would really probably be hard to find many men who would admit or who actually know somebody who is accused of doing something like that. So this sort of stuff perpetuates and continues in part because men, normal men, people like me and you who are listening and watching this, they don't speak up. And so I wasn't going to say anything because I feel like, why comment on something else? Why try to contribute to like this sort of outrage? But it is outrageous and it's fucking awful. And I don't want to use really strong language because I know my kids and, people watch this that, I don't know, man, fuck that. Fuck Cesar Chavez, man. I don't know. I don't know why I'm holding back. I feel like maybe by saying that I'm doing something wrong, but what I read and what I heard and what I've learned, that's light compared to what I should be saying about him and what we should all be saying about him. I was reached out to by a friend last night who had a book, Lado a Lado, Side by Side, the book of Dolores and Cesar and their journey together. And he's like, I'm throwing this out. I don't want my daughter to believe a lie. And part of what angers me about all of this is that I guess I believed a lie. I believe that Cesar Chavez was a good person, despite some of his flaws that I'd heard leading up to yesterday. His allegations, or these allegations of sexual assault and abuse, weren't among the knowledge that I had about him. But now that I do, fuck that guy, man. This is not our protection of the most vulnerable starts with children and women and those who can't use a voice to speak up for themselves, or don't have the power to do that, or don't think that they have been empowered to do that themselves. And to think that there was a leader out there who was taking advantage of that. And not only that, but to think that there was somebody also who felt as a victim that they had to stay quiet because it would have hurt the cause and the larger cause. When people who were brown were being persecuted at a large scale, I'm sure someone like Cesar Chavez represented a little bit of hope, and they wanted to perpetuate that lie behind the scenes. From what I understand, there was members of his family that did know exactly who he was. And I mentioned in a post yesterday on social media, having gone to Delano and spent time there with the granddaughter of Cesar Chavez, and being surprised that there weren't more monuments or statues or a road named after him. And the greatest irony, it's the Bijo kids that go to Cesar Chavez High School, all the whitewash Bocho kids like me go to Cesar Chavez. It's not even like the Garfield High School there locally, It's, I don't know, man. I guess what I'm trying to say of all this is that I'm disappointed and disgusted. And I know that I need to keep fighting and keep standing up, and that si se puede was a phrase used by Dolores Huerta. And I've been saying that for a long, long time. Because my dad taught it to me as a Chicano from South Central. He would say it. And he would say it and scream it from the football stands after every touchdown. And so I'm going to still say it. And when I do, I'm going to think of Dolores and all the women and others who were victimized by Cesar Chavez. Dang, man, that's heavy shit. But you see how easy, or maybe not how easy, but you see what it is to call out leadership in your own community when they do wrong. Maybe MAGA can take a lesson from what just happened here in the last 90 seconds of the show. That when your leaders in your community fuck up, you call them out because it's bigger than just one man. Donald Trump has been accused of heinous things, and Christians who vote Republican always make an excuse and seem to bend over backwards for him. People in his cabinet like Marco Rubio, who's been made fun of, or Ted Cruz, who's been insulted, whose wife has been insulted, they still stand up for him and defend him. Lindsey Graham out there defending things. I don't know, man. Cesar Chavez did wrong. You call him out in your community. Donald Trump, the president of the United States, does wrong, people shut up and they sit on their hands because they want their mergers to go through or whatever, or then they grow a pair when it's too late. So in that spirit, we're speaking truth to power. And if you missed it, we're not live today. I ended up going on a little bit of a tangent here, but we are on here to promote this tomorrow. We're live from Social Circle, Georgia, the small town sacrificed for ICE, Friday, March 20th, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern. We will be joined by local residents, guests, including people who voted for Donald Trump but are in opposition of this proposed ICE center. That's our show for today, guys. Just a promotion of what's been going on and a little bit of my thoughts on the now tainted legacy of Cesar Chavez. What a disappointment. God bless you guys for watching. Thank you guys so much. You know what we say here, make truth go viral. Keep sharing, liking, subscribing, get up here, donate, please. It's the only way this continues, the only way that we go on and keep moving forward and talking our shit, man, because there's no corporate sponsors here. It's just you guys helping us out. So thank you guys as always. And let me get out of the show here, play the outro, put it on loop. Peace. Have a great day on purpose.